tribute, and it made me extremely proud of this city. And excuse me? What?
Tensions were high during closing council comments at a recent Anniston Council meeting.
She killed my cousin.
Please.
They didn't run to get Sheila Field when she was drunk and killed her.
Fine.
You don't talk to people like that. You don't talk to people like that.
All right, at this time.
Councilwoman Millie Harris was giving a compliment on the Martin Luther King breakfast program. Someone in the audience spoke out. Let's listen.
Ceremony on Monday. It was a great tribute, and it made me extremely proud of this city. And excuse me? What?
Ma'am,
Excuse me. I am speaking, and I don't really understand why some individuals feel that it's okay to speak out in a meeting, because it's really rude. It's really not. I have the floor. Yes, I thought I was proud of the ceremony. I was proud of the job that the city did, and I was proud of those young people. And our city, we have a lot to be proud of. And I'm very sorry about the past. I've already apologized for the people that came before me. There's not one thing I can do about that, but all we can do is look forward. Thank you.
What's next? Mr. Little, please. Mr. Little, please respect the process.
They didn't run to get Sheila Field when she killed my cousin.
Please.
They didn't run to get Sheila Field when she was drunk and killed Bobby did.
Okay. I would like to echo Mr. Jenkins welcoming of Julie as finance director. Again, we're going to miss Corey, and we wish you well going forward. I too would like to commend city staff and all of the all of the sponsors.
You don't talk to people like that. You don't talk to people like that.
All right, at this time, I will move that we stand in adjournment. Is there a second?
Second. Y'all want to a black woman. Police don't scare me. I know my rights. You know my she can't talk.
Why is she black?
We can't have y'all black.
Why did he come down when a white woman said something?
We go to jail.
Can you answer that question? As long as I got this much education. She wasn't disorderly. She wasn't disorderly. Go back to that. She wasn't disorderly.
I'll stop talking when y'all arrest Sheila Field. That's when I stop talking.
Reserve, please.
Oh, yeah.
I said something to Millie because I wanted to know what was going on at the Black History program. She got upset, said some crazy stuff, so I got up and walked out and said what I had to say. Police Chief Shane Denham followed me out, up in my face, had me against the wall, threatened to put me in jail because I was saying what I was saying. He said that I was being disorderly conduct, and he'll put my butt in jail. I know him, right, and you know me. Exactly what I told him. Until a young man came out and told him to get out my face.
Another situation happened a while back that prompted Councilman Ben Little to address the council when a white man approached the council to hand Councilman Little a jail costume. Typical protocol in situations like this is to ask to approach the council. It's a safety measure for public officials. Let's watch and see how this played out.
I got something for you I'd like to get you. It's a little inmate suit. It's not your size, but it might be big enough for your back. Okay. All right.
So was there a need for law enforcement to confront this man in this situation?
That podium, which is no problem coming to the podium, but when they allowed him to come forward and did nothing, and I don't know if they knew about it or not, but I have no confidence, and may I ask you to stop it. When you're in the courtroom, you cannot proceed beyond that podium unless you request the judge to approach.
Now, Mr. Little, we've had other people bring stuff to us before.
Let's
just be fair.
No, I don't mind. This was an adversarial situation. And you were the adversary. And I asked you, Mayor, not to let him do it. Stop it. You didn't say nothing. You know, I feel that.
I didn't perceive any threat.
That's not you, it's me. It wasn't coming to you, it's you. I asked you to do it. You had a duty and obligation to do what I was asking you to do at that time. You cannot approach the judge bench unless you ask the judge to approach. That's what you do. And I asked you to, Mayor, don't let him come forward. You said that would give it to me. I don't know what was in there. It could have been some chemical, could have been anything in there coming out toward me. And I do, and sometimes I do have flashbacks. I almost had a flashback then. I almost had a flashback then. If I had a flashback then, it would not have been pretty. But the police, the chief, and the captain stood back there and did absolutely nothing. I'm tired. I'm not going to be a punching bag around here for nobody. I'm an elected official. I don't care if they're going to like me or not. But they will not come up nobody's toy. They get the toy on Christmas or whenever they get it. And I'm not a play toy. They better do like a banana and split or do like a tree and grow up. Deal with it. But I'm not going to take that. I do not have the confidence. They're standing there talking to this guy all during the meeting. I don't care if he hold a sign up as long as he want to hold a sign up. That doesn't bother me. But for them to allow that guy to come forward and to do what he did with an object in his hand, with an object in his hand, and to do that, I don't have the confidence.
Now the council has a border rope in front of the podium to ensure no one approaches unless they are granted permission by council members.
There. I've been brought in front of the Ethics Commission 5 times since I've been on this council. 5 times I have been investigated. So, if you want to make it 6, make it 6. I don't care. Make it 10.
In other developments, Councilman Jay Jenkins pled not guilty to an ethics violation charge, or should that reflect charges, meaning 3 counts. Our cameras tell a different story of how Jenkins voted on 3 separate votes regarding the relocation of Anniston City Hall to the Anniston Star Building.
Okay, our last motion tonight deals with an issue probably many of you are here for, and it deals with the temporary relocation of City Hall. Before we begin this, and I anticipate that this will be very much fleshed out in council discussion, no one is lying. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Jenkins?
Yes. Our 6th resolution deals with ratifying and approving and consenting to GSA's selection of the current City Hall site for the new regional federal courthouse to be located in Anniston, and further authorizing the mayor and city manager to represent the city in the acquisition, or in GSA's acquisition of the City Hall site and the city's potential acquisition of the existing federal courthouse. Mr. Johnson, that's pretty self-explanatory. Is there anything additionally that we need to know or for the benefit of the public?
I don't believe so, sir. No, sir.
Okay, I will move for passage and adoption. Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Jenkins?
Yes.
Our first resolution deals with authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement with Consolidated Publishing. Without reading the entirety of the lease, can you present that resolution, Mr. Johnson?
This is a lease back between the city of Anniston and Consolidated Publishing, whereby the city would enter into a lease agreement for approximately 24,000 square feet of the building. It would be a 4-year term with 4 one-year renewal options. As part of the lease, the landlord will pay taxes, insurance, and utilities.
I will move for passage and adoption. Is there a second?
Second.
Council discussion.
I would report it to the Ethics Commission, which I'm not exactly, concerned about that. Okay, so I want to make sure that no one else get in halfway situation. Gee, I don't know if your wife works there or not. I don't know, because somebody might be out there trying to lure you into something. If your wife works with the Anniston Star in any form, that they may try to say you may refrain from voting. I don't know, but I don't know if the city attorney can bring that up and address that issue. I'm mad at it. If you can or not, you may have already looked into that already. I just say that I know people out there, and for whatever reason, try to mess people over. Like I said, I'm not necessarily concerned about what was put on me. We're gonna deal with that in good fashion. But your wife works there at the Anniston Star. I don't know how kosher. Okay, I don't know how kosher that would be. It's just sort of protection of you, protection of the rest of the people, I reckon.
Councilman Little says Anniston City Attorney Bruce Downey should have intervened and cautioned Jenkins about voting.
The city attorney, like I said, can address that, I imagine. If need be, if not, if you already checked it out and you're ready to go, then that's on you.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Jenkins?
Yes.
But then there were public comments.
Jake plead not guilty, and I'm sitting right here when he voted.
To Mr. Frazier, that's Tony, like that. Did you hear his tone? And I haven't seen anybody up here get up and scold him or treat him badly. Now, I was scheduled to be on the King breakfast, but I declined to go because I came here to meet with Frazier. I think it was that Thursday or Friday. And because I asked one question about doing the flash about the King's last speech in Memphis, he said he didn't like my tone. And the question was this: does the city have laptops? And of course they do. But after that, he didn't like my tone. And so you can't have a person running a recreation department when people run out of trouble into a place of recreation. When the head of the organization, you can't ask him a question. And I think the council, in my opinion, should investigate how he was hired. But he certainly is not, in my opinion, qualified for the job. And then my son called me from New York today. Then I remembered who he was, or who he is. I used to walk out at Norwood. So one day I'm walking, and he approaches me. This has been years ago, when my son was in high school. And he accused my son of taking a cell phone from his son. That was an absolute lie. My son wasn't raised like that. He wasn't violent. He wouldn't have taken anybody's phone. The one may have let him use it. But then we have somebody like this trying to be a department head. And if HR, I think I talked to you at least then, about a policy of hiring, how can you hire people without announcing the job? So that other people may have an opportunity to apply. I don't know what his credentials are.
Now, from this point on, it's up to us. The power is with the people. Now, if we're mad at this council, it's not their fault. We put them there. So if they're not doing what we think that they should do based on Ward 2 and Ward 3, because we know it's on Ward 4 and I live in Ward 1, what we gotta do? Get about it. So my dad always told me, talk is cheap. We can talk all day, we can fuss, we can do whatever we need to do. But when it comes down to making a difference, the people got the power.
I have a question, and I don't expect an immediate response or answer tonight, but I was wondering if the city of Anniston is any closer to the point of issuing permits for Uber drivers or Lyft drivers, for that matter.
My last point is directed at Mr. Boss. I don't know if you recall this, but when you all were having a discussion on hiring a public media person, and I asked you, I said, well, is this going to be like an undercover thing? Or you going to publicly hire somebody? Or you just going to sweep it under the rug? I know how things work. You said, no, it's going to be advertised. Matter of fact, you said, give me your name and number. I will call you and let you know when I'm posting that job. Well, I never received that phone call. I believe that a person's word is their bond. And if you can't respect what you say and keep your word, then I can't respect you as a person. military person too. And if you have a soldier that came and said they was gonna do this and never did it, then what would you feel about, what would you think of that person? Thank you.
There was a press conference held by the local NAACP chapter to address the former Calhoun County Assistant District Attorney Sheila Field.
The people that's supposed to be the overseer to make sure things are done right, they let a corrupt prosecutor, Sheila Field, lead them all down a crooked road. But I'm here to tell you today, if you stand by me and I stand by you, that change are going to be coming in Anniston. I'm telling you that if you stand by me, and if I'm going to stand by you, and I can tell you this, that we are going to make sure whatever your loved one, there's no reason that you can get stopped for a marijuana charge and get put in jail for 10 or 15 years you're looking under, and it have a case number. But Officer Murphy said he gave his evidence that night to FBI Martin. Let me tell you something. If you don't have no evidence, you don't have a case. Let me tell you. This is the summary report. But at the end, it says no bill. Because they had to put no bill because they can go as further as they can go. But let me tell you this. They brought in the U.S. Attorney's Office. You got to get this boy to plead guilty because we done messed up. And I told my son, hold on. The Lord is coming. The U.S. Attorney's Office picked him up, taking him to Birmingham, charged him. Said they were picking up the state case. I said, thank you, Jesus, because I knew the state never had a case. I sat there while he went through a trial, found guilty by 11 white folks, one black lady, and she drove up in a handicapped car. But I sat there, and I looked, and I sat there. It's hard to know your son being railroaded. You know that he's going to jail, but you know he got to go because he got to free others. That habeas corpus right there, that's what's going to free your kids. Because what that habeas corpus said, Murphy said, I didn't get nothing and I didn't see nobody else get nothing. Lord, thank you. What that habeas corpus say, that it was like a cookie when I gave it to the FBI. The FBI must have messed it up because it came soapy wet. So I said, come to court to honor the habeas corpus we done filed. You think they showed up? We waited 6 months. They never showed up. So we filed a default. And I'm here to tell you right now, they can't even come and talk about it now. But that right there gonna free all of your kids because Sheila Field was the one that prosecuted him in this courtroom along with Tim Burgess.
Now, somewhere I heard that Sheila Field is no longer with the district attorney's office. Is that right? She got fired for a reason. Or she left for a reason. I don't know. But she don't want to state why she left. But I'll tell you this. I am told that somewhere she's bragging about how she's going to lock people up for life. And now she's gone. Someone told me that in the paper, it was stated yesterday that she threatened a lawsuit, where anyone can file a lawsuit who can pay the filing fee. But the thing about it is, maybe that's what she needs to do, file a lawsuit so she can get it in court. But one thing about it, she goes to court, and maybe you can find out some things, what really happened on the night of the killing. Someone did something. And someone failed to do something. I don't know if it was the Anniston Police Department that failed to do it, but I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that a sobriety test was conducted about a year later. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if someone was drunk, well, I won't say they was drunk, but somebody was staggering the whole way for a whole year on the same thing. You wait a year later to do something is wrong with that picture.
When she left Ruby Tunes was drinking. She didn't leave Dollar General drinking. Travis walks to Dollar General all the time. If we was to get pulled over and we was to be drinking, they gonna give us a breathalyzer right then and there on the scene, and they'll keep us in the back of the car for at least an hour so everybody can see it. Why did the prosecutor have the right to be transported off the scene to RMC to get her breathalyzer done just because she's a prosecutor? It's not right. Justice for Travis.
Simply about me and say that I didn't do my job. And normally people don't come up here and they don't speak. But I'm coming and I'm speaking because nobody...
However, Officer Webb with the Anniston Police Department says that's not so. Officer Webb claims he took Fields to RMC, where she was tested for alcohol.
But this wreck, I have facts, and I just want to clear the air on what's going on. So at the scene, there was no signs of alcohol. There was no smell of alcohol. There was nothing that led me to believe that she was under the influence at that scene. And by law, really I couldn't require her to submit to a blood test. But because of her position, I recommended that we do one, and she agreed. I had another officer take her directly to the hospital and had the nurses at RMC perform a blood test, which we then submitted to the state, just like normal procedure. And the date on that report where the results were entered, that's when we received the results back from the state. And that's normal. The length of time there, it varies, but it's normal for every case. We do the blood test that night, and then we don't get the results back until they process it.
Okay. So was that the case? Somebody said a year later. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Is that regular? Does it happen frequently when you send something off, it comes back a year later, or is it just this?
Well, there was I think at that time, and I'm not real sure, I think there was a backlog. I think it's gotten a little bit shorter now. But yes, it can take that long, just like, criminal cases take a while to go through the justice system.
How often do you transport someone that had an accident to a medical facility to get a blood or alcohol test and not on the scene? That's kind of rare, isn't it?
No. If there's a serious, normally we don't do a blood test unless there is a serious injury or a fatality. And if there's reason to believe, like I said, it wasn't even necessary. But because we wanted to have one, her car's disabled. We can't get her to the hospital. It's our job to get her there and get her tested.
Oh, so she was hurt too?
No.
She wasn't injured?
We took her just for the blood test to make sure that she wasn't intoxicated.
Okay, but not on the scene. You didn't do it on the scene?
You can't do it on the scene.
They do breathalyzers.
The breathalyzers are not admissible. Only the breathalyzer that's in the building or a blood test. And the blood test is, that's what we use in all fatality accidents. So that's the same protocol that we use for every wreck we ever work.
So breathalyzers are not admissible?
The breathalyzer, portable breathalyzer at the scene is not admissible at court.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what from the scene as far as alcohol is admissible? Do they have to do the field sobriety test?
Field sobriety, any of those things, those are what you would use on a typical DUI stop.
Okay. And did you do a field sobriety test on site?
Had no reason to believe she was intoxicated.
Okay. And what was that blood alcohol level that came back from the
Negative.
Negative?
No measurable content.
Okay. All right. Is there anywhere we can get a copy of that? Is that public record?
No, it's not.
Okay. But then the focus changes. Councilman Little questions City Manager Stephen Folks about if City Attorney Bruce Downey is getting health benefits from the city legally.
Mr. Folks, I asked you, I know I received information from the HR director, and I thought I brought it, but I didn't. I think I could memorize what I said. I think it said in there, and even though the requirement is 30 hours a week and working, but the council set a precedent of judges, councilmen receiving health and benefits. And it's different than, I think, council and mayor or something that's different than contract work. It is stated in there, if I remember the reading of the contract was one of the things that was excluded in there.
So there's nothing excluded. I gave you, I sent to the entire council, my memo, what I felt was that we had allowed others as well as municipal judges as well as the city attorney has had benefits before. There's nothing that mandates or restricts us from that. There's nothing legally that restricts us from doing that. As long as we follow in compliance of what our eligibility for our self-insurance from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and that is included in that, and I did say that to you.
And you stated, if you read that top of it, states in there, now in the bottom where you got highlighted about contractors. Contract, and then one said, what eligible? Said, first of all, you got city employee. Is that?
I'm sorry, so you must meet the eligibility condition for the duration of your participation in the plan.
Read the first one, don't you?
Yeah, you are eligible for the following, you meet the following, you are employee, working, or treated as such, it'll be approved. Examples, person who are not employed, include independent contractors and consultants.
Okay,
so that's
contract. Okay, now it's not included.
No, sir. It's examples of those who are not included, independent contractors, which is not, it's not board member, which is not, he's not a consultant.
How is not an independent contract? He's an independent contract?
No, so he's been contracted by the city. He's been as a contract agreement with the city to be our city attorney, which is mandated by law that we have a city attorney.
So that's not a contract. Yes, contract.
You have a contract because we've done that.
No, it's not what you use a contract. He has a contract agreement. Agreement is what? Yeah. Agreement is contract. The other thing about it is, didn't it say in there 30 hours a week? Do you have I haven't seen anything in his work schedule showing that he's working 30 hours a week.
Ms. Little, the council requires me to add him to map out something, I'll put something in place, but right now I just know how many hours he works. Who's on call to each and every day. He's on call just like any other employee or any other work that needs to be done. Now, if we need to put something in place that can actually delineate what to out in the hour, we can do that.
Again, do you have a law, and I asked you for it, the requirement is a 30-hour week. Do you have a law that allows you to do something, you or the council? I know you're talking about the precedent has been set from other council members, but the precedent of somebody riding down the road, a whole lot of people riding down the road speeding, and somebody passed you and the cop stopped you, and you tell them, so, well, that individual just passed me speeding, but you were speeding too, it got you. So it matters not what the precedent other folks are doing, it's what you've been caught doing. And so now I'm saying that unless you can show where that is a legal option, and that picture right there doesn't say that it's legal to do that because the 30 hours is not there. And I don't think the bar, in reading stuff about the bar, will agree with that consumption. And you have talked about the agreement, and in the past agreement with Mr. Johnson, you had in there saying that you hired a Downing law firm. The law states that you can hire the city manager, the city attorney, and that's what should be addressed because the law firm really has other stipulation in there. I know a lot of lawyers said it's got one individual in there that said law firm, a lot of said that. But the address should be in any type of agreement because an agreement is a contract. A contract is an agreement between two people.
Let me just say this, Councilman. I can't attest to what anyone prior to my predecessor did, but I will say this. The only person that I know is employed, is the city attorney, which is Bruce Downing, not the firm, and that's what I'm moving forward. As when we come to what's mandated by law, the only thing that I understand is mandated by law that I know if anyone works 30 hours, I have to provide them the ability to have a certain benefits, and that is in place. Other than that, I don't see any violations of the law. Now, however, if this council, which is the governing body, decide to have me move in another direction, it is that I will abide by the in place. But that's not illegally. If anyone is found that I've done anything illegal, proved I've done anything illegally, I'm willing to suffer the consequences. That's my stance, and that's what I gave to the council.
Well, that's what you're going to have to do.
Yes.
City council and city attorneys and city managers are immune in certain ways, but there was and I'm saying once you become aware of something, and I'm telling you right now, that thing, you're not in accordance with it, and the city attorney cannot have health and dental insurance. And if right now you operating off the same agreement that Mr. Johnson had, which is giving him $12,000 a month plus whatever. And so if you say what someone else is doing, you're doing exactly what they're doing because you're operating from that same agreement. So I'm just telling you now, the way I read it and the way I think and my communication with other attorneys, is that is illegal to do.
Stay tuned for more news, features, and updates. Thanks for watching.
You know, you're not immune, and the city